What's going on, everybody? Sorry if I look like a zombie. I will be going into night 6 of 6 at the hospital, and I'd like to just put this out there. This will be a video of Freddie reviewing my 2017 victory, Octane. Now, this isn't a didactic, objective review. It would be all subjective, his opinions, and it is really funny at some points. So please enjoy this review of the 2017 Victory Octane by Freddie.
Alright, so here we got to review a Victory Octane 1200cc. Never really been a cruiser guy myself, but I never saw the point of them before. I've always been more of a sport bike guy. Right now I ride a Yamaha FZ09. Not a all-out full-bred super sport, but still along those lines, but just with a upright riding position, no bodywork, a little bit of a more sloppy suspension than it should, but it still gets the job done. But anyways, getting back on topic of cruisers and this Victory specifically. After riding this bike and the Indian bobber, Scout bobber, it made me realize that there really is a place for cruisers. Never really liked them before, never saw myself wanting to buy one ever really. But after riding these two bikes, made me really change my opinion. I've never really been into the long range, just cruising, just going long distances type of thing. Just been more into just canyon carving, track days, just attacking corners. But after a while, being able to just going on a nice long cruise just sounds real nice nowadays. I don't know if I'm just getting older or what, but it's just a niche that falls into one of the motorcycling categories. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to two wheels, I love them all nowadays. I mean, just recently we took a supermoto class, SoCal Supermoto, shout out to them, had a blast. Want a dirt bike now, want a supermoto now, just anything on two wheels. I mean, there's really nothing that one bike can do all. I've told my girlfriend this, that even though I have one bike, I mean, it's not going to suffice, because you pretty much need a different tool for a different job, especially when it comes to motorcycles. I mean, I can't see myself doing a long 8-hour tour on my FZ, but when it comes to a bike like this Victory right here, no problem whatsoever. Oh, that guy almost swerved down the lane, but whatever. Yeah, I can see myself riding this thing all day long. And don't get me wrong, this thing isn't even like an all-out touring cruiser, with a bag and all that, and with a big windshield. This thing's got a little windscreen, a little dark windscreen. I mean, yeah, I can still feel the wind, but it ain't anything that bad. It's nothing that you can't handle. But the real sunshine of this bike is, I'd say, the torque. You twist that grip and it just f***ing goes. Not to mention, this bike right here in particular has a set of slip-ons. I believe they're Crusher slip-ons, and it just sounds beautiful. You guys can hear it right here. I mean, now we're going through some more of the twisty stuff right here. I mean, don't get me wrong, she ain't no sport bike, but she's doing just fine. But yeah, this 1200cc V-twin, she's got more than enough torque, and it feels like it doesn't really top out that fast neither. I believe it redlines at 8,000 RPM, and she'll pull all the way up until at least 6.5, and I still feel just fine. Now brakes. When it comes to brakes, this thing's got a single brake up front, but not to worry, still feels amazing. Stops on a dime, does what it needs to do, no problems whatsoever. Now if you're like me and you came from more of a sporty bike, even if it's just like more of a standard bike like the SZ or a Z900, first thing you'll notice when you hop on a cruiser, especially one with forward controls, is where do I put my feet. I know a couple times, especially the Scout Bobber when I first rode that, there's a couple times when it came off of a stoplight and I just could not find the pegs. It took me a hot minute to find it, but once you get it up there, I'm telling you one thing, it's a good feeling riding with forward controls. You just feel like you're cruising. Now going back to the bargain, I mean this thing, I don't know if he just got a hot deal on this one, but I mean this thing, I don't know if it comes with the LED headlights stock, but that thing looks nice. I mean, if it wasn't from the factory, then kudos to whoever put it on, because it makes it look real badass. It comes with that fly screen that I mentioned earlier. This one in particular has these higher bars on it. They feel real nice. They're a little on the narrow side, but hey, they still feel pretty good to me. I believe the reason why he went with the more narrow ones is so that he doesn't have to change out the brake lines. He still uses stock brake lines with these bars. Mentioned the slip-ons before. Yeah, that thing sounds good. This thing just barks. This bike's a real head turner too. As soon as you pull into the neighborhood, everybody just looks. Yeah, she pulls. I love that. This thing's bad. Like I said, I never had a thing for cruisers before, but I don't know if it's the market, but I think these manufacturers are just doing them right nowadays. Scraped the peg a little bit right there, a little scary. Not bad, not too shabby. Going back to the cruisers, yeah. When I wrote that Scout Bobber, I thought to myself, like, man, like, I don't know what it is, but I want one of these. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like brand biased or anything, but I've never really wanted anything that Harley Davidson made. I mean, even nowadays, like, I mean, I know, like, I'm digging the idea of like having a cruiser now, but in my opinion, Harley, yeah, of course, like, they're successful, people buy them, a ton of people buy them actually, but in my opinion, they're kind of riding off of their name more than anything at this point, because yeah, I mean, they've got some pretty nice bikes. I mean, the newer Softails are pretty nice. The Iron 883, the more budget friendly ones, they look badass, but on paper though, they're really lackluster. They don't put out enough power than they should, in my opinion, especially for the price point. I don't know how much this Victory was brand new, but if you can pick up a 2017 Victory Octane like this one for $6,500 versus like a Dyna, Harley Davidson Dyna, and those are going for at least 12 grand. I mean, I think, in my opinion, the choice is pretty clear. unless you really want a Dyna because you want to be like Jackson Teller or something, then go for it. But I mean, this bike has everything that a Dyna has to offer and then some, in my opinion. And you don't even have to just look at the Victory Octane. And like, I mean, Indian is putting out a bunch of really nice stuff nowadays. I mean, Scout Bobber, like I said, big fan. Don't love the seating position, but hey, that's easily changed. Bars, pegs, whatever. Like I said, this thing doesn't have the best wind protection, but I don't know if it's the riding position or what, but it doesn't really affect you too bad. I feel the wind, don't get me wrong, but like it's not pushing me all over the place like it would be on like my FZ, because that's a completely naked bike and like you're pretty much perched on top of the bike like a sail. But yeah, this thing, like, I guess you're sitting like more like inside of the bike versus like on top of the bike, so like that helps out a lot. Yeah, like I said, the only thing that limits this thing, but even then it's not really a limitation, depending on how you ride, is the ride height, because you're gonna be scraping hard parts like crazy going through stuff like this. I mean, I really have to take it easy. First time I scraped peg on this thing, it scared the shit out of me, but I mean, you can scrape for a while until there's a limitation to everything, and then that's when bad things happen. That's why, kids, a different tool for a different job. It'll do the trick. It'll go through the corners, but it won't be too happy doing it. So tell your girlfriends, tell your wives, you need a different bike for a different adventure. Scrape the whole turn there. A little tight here. Yeah, see. This road would be so much fun on a sport bike or on my FZ, but hey, I'm still enjoying the ride on this Victory, don't get me wrong. Just cannot get tired of that bark. It just sounds so good. Nate was actually telling me when he first got it, like, dude, I think it might be too loud. And I was like, no, leave it. She sounds good. It's like, oh, I might get pulled over, then let you get, it's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. This thing sounds too good.
Thank you for watching that whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you can tell, we had to do a lot of editing and it didn't actually finish the ride, and there was still about 8 minutes of video that we had to take off because YouTube is limiting our channel at the moment to only a maximum of 15 minutes. So if you would like to see more and more content, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. And hopefully we'll get enough views and counts and likes that we can actually put out a longer video and you can have more content to enjoy. Thank you. Have a good one.